Hello everybody, how you doing? This is Kiereek here, and we're doing GTA 5, a review for the review and release series. Now, this review is taking place at 63 hours, and I feel like that's an important stat, because what I basically did was, I did the single player. I don't do all the little mini missions. Like, I don't do yoga, I don't do golf, I don't do shit like that. But I do any of the missions that pop up on the map with a letter. I do the Strangers and Freaks stuff and all that jazz. And I didn't do very much online, but we will get to that. Now, what is GTA 5? Have you ever played GTA? Because it's basically that. Except in this case, you are playing as 3 different characters, which means you're basically shooting, stealing cars, driving around, blowing stuff up. You're involved in gang violence. You're involved in sort of heists in this game. So basically, it's a criminal fantasy. And I love it. The driving and shooting is the main concept of the game. If you ever played GTS before, what else do you expect? This game also features quite an in-depth story. They really have been getting better and better over the years. A lot of animated scenes, as in cinematic scenes, and a lot of little storylines that follow its way through. I think that's where they've really improved. Now, the pros for this game, the sweet spot, I think they found it. In terms of driving and driving physics, when you look back in the old days, I really enjoyed, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed GTA 1 from the top-down perspective. You rocketed, you could see very far ahead of you. I enjoyed Vice City, same thing. The cars handled like you're playing basically Hot Wheels versions of things, like super fast acceleration and all that jazz, super tight turning. And we got to GTA 4, and people were complaining because it felt like everything was made of marshmallows. Acceleration was slow, it was crumpling, you just had your seatbelt off, you flew out the windshield. And I personally didn't mind it. I thought, whatever, you know what, that is the game. But now I feel like they found that perfect balance. It's still pretty realistic, but it has a much lighter feel to it, a much more agile feel. I'm liking it. It looks fantastic, definitely the best looking GTA to date. One thing that really caught my eye was the explosions. I don't know if I've ever seen such beautiful explosions in a video game. I remember Just Cause. I used to think that game had really great explosive effects, Just Cause 2. But now, I don't know, I think GTA 5 probably has a beat, which isn't that fair, it's a much newer game. It's got an engaging start to all these stories. And I gotta honestly say, it made me care about some characters. Let's take the top 3. So we got Trevor. He is our resident gangbanger, lives in the hood. He wants something better for himself. He's kind of torn between hitting it big with people he's meeting or sticking to his roots, which kind of means sticking to failure in a way, sticking to the hood life. And he doesn't really want that. I thought that was a decent story. I thought they got a point across pretty good, but after that, Franklin kind of fell flat. He's just kind of the middle ground guy. I wanted to see just a little more fucking action from him. I don't know. Then you've got Trevor, everybody's GTA player persona, basically. He is a psychopath, he's a killer, he's a thief. Basically, it sums up all you people on the internet. But his story isn't really that great. He's a little pissed off that a friend betrayed him, and I guess that's it. He gets involved with some shady shit, but to be fair, it's his fault. He gets involved with it because he wants to start a meth dealing ring and all that crap. I'm not really sympathetic towards that. He did it. Now, then there's Michael. This was the one that hit home for me. He is having a hard time in life. He's at a point in his life where he's kind of relinquished the life of crime, but he doesn't know what to do with himself. His wife kind of hates him. His kids hate him. And then they fucking up and leave. And his whole story is basically, to me, it's like a struggle of him trying to keep his family there, get his family back, and find a way to straighten out his life. Especially because once they all come together, his life gets even more screwed up. Trevor's in there, he's messing things up. Honestly, I really, really cared about what happened to Michael. I wanted nothing more than to do the fucking missions that I would thought might get his family back together. And when it gave you choices like, you can go to the therapist or not, I'm like, hell yeah, you're gonna go to the therapist. You better do that. Get shit together. Figure your life out. The first person, it's really neat. I don't know if it's a viable, I don't know, not completely viable, but it's kind of got a neat thing to it. I I really liked the driving in first person, which isn't anything new. I think that was actually an option before as well. But driving the motorcycle, especially first person, I'm way better at driving a motorcycle first person for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm just more like used to that in real life. I don't know. I think the stock market concept was kind of neat. The internet concept where you can buy cars and stuff like that was also pretty interesting. It is tough to know what's going to go on, but the game gives you some hints as to which stocks to invest in and which ones to sell. And so I think it's kind of neat. Some stuff is really expensive. I guess what they're waiting for is end game cash, but I'd have a hard time seeing enough cash to buy a lot of those goodies. Okay, talk to my cons here. Although I really liked the beginning of the stories, I thought they wrapped up very poorly. Michael's family, for example. I said how invested I was into getting them back in. Well, it really seemed like no progress was being made there, and then one day, my son basically shows up out of nowhere, says he wants back in my life, and we go around in a single day and get the family back together, and they agree to move back in with me. And I was kind of like, huh, that just like what? Wrapped us up just like that, everybody's happy, peachy keen. Like, there were a few follow-up missions that kind of had you look after your family and go do things for them, but other than that, it wasn't fluid. It didn't feel natural. The main quest as well, it kind of seemed like all of a sudden they needed to wrap it up. Sorry guys, we were maxed at our budget. Okay, and you finish this up in like, I don't know, like 5,000 words or less? That seems reasonable. We had all these problems. Trevor and Michael are basically broken up. They're upset with each other. All these gangs are on our back, and all of a sudden it gives you these, hey, we want 3 choices. Kill Trevor, kill Michael, or don't do either one and fight everybody. Well, first of all, I feel like that's not a really great choice, because if it had just been kill Michael or kill Trevor, that's a good choice. But the fact that it gives you 2 hard choices and 1 choice that's easy, well, of course you're going to choose the easy choice. Don't get me wrong, Trevor is the cause of all the problems in that game, okay?
What do you want?
And Michael, I don't think deserves to die at all. I don't know who would choose Michael. But if you kill Trevor, it doesn't get all the people off everybody else's back. You don't get rid of the FBI. You don't get rid of the Chinese gangs. You don't get rid of all that junk. And you'll get rid of Merriweather or Devin Weston. So you basically have to choose the third option. I felt like that's just a poor choice. It wasn't that your choices didn't matter. It was that they weren't equal. Now, it felt kind of forced into long driving sections. GTA is notorious for this, but the map just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and I feel like it keeps getting worse and worse. Maybe a little bit more natural, and it's filled with good dialogue compared to GTA 4, which I feel like wasn't as full like that. One thing that seems like they don't have as much of, and maybe it's because it's not New York City. You can't just hop in a cab. In GTA 4, just hop in a cab and fast travel. Now you can't really have that option because there don't really seem to be very many cabs. And they're not calling one every time. This game's kind of weird. Now, one of the things I didn't like about the first-person mode is they somehow neglected to put in iron sights. Way to go. That's Fallout 3 levels of competency with first person. I hate it when they show you oh yeah, you're aiming down the sights, but really he just lifts the gun a bit and there's a little reticule. It's like, no, please. Iron sight me for first person or don't give me it at all. Now, the real estate in single player, I thought there could have been a lot more. Online there was tons, but in single player, well, you have the money. I feel like in single player you eventually did, at the end of the game, you're pretty rich. But no, you can't buy anything because there's not that much. There's like a couple garages, a couple houses, and that's it. And between 3 characters. And it's like, well, you don't really need a couple houses, whatever. But the garages I would have liked. I would have, if you had a 20-car garage somewhere, that would have been great. Hell, even the bunker, so at the nightclubs and shit like that. How come they didn't make that available in single player? It just kind of, it's unusual to me. Now, we're going to address the online real quick here. I played a bit, and I found that it was plagued a little bit. You had your mission, you had your open map, and in the open map, you could run around for a bit. You try to do anything, generally someone eventually is going to kill you. And unfortunately, sometimes the person who wants to kill you is equipped with like a helicopter or a fighter jet, and you're starting out, you got no chance. It's annoying. You can go to passive mode after you've been killed a couple times, but I don't really think that's a fix. That's more like a duct tape. And the missions themselves, they're interesting. Some of them are very fun. I played some of the races and stuff like that. I played some of the other car games. There's one you have to get the truck to the end and other people to try to destroy it, blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of interesting. But the heists never really turned out for me. I had such a hard time, and keep in mind, I'm late to the game. So I think the issue is most people have played these heists. But I wanted to play these heists, and instead, I just couldn't get a lobby going. We would have like 2 out of 4 people or whatever the number is, and people could come join, they leave. They could join, they leave. They join, they leave, and we'd never get 4 people. Sometimes I left it running for like an hour, and it just never happened. So I think that could have been a bit better. If it let me do the heist with some AI, you know what I mean? Maybe help me out a bit there, guys. So for the score, on gameplay, I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 3. It's pretty great. It's pretty, like I said, it's pretty much the pinnacle of, as far as GTA experience goes. It's there. There's just a few janky things, like sometimes when you're running around and you try to jump over a fence and he just jumps into the fence. Little things like that. The world is just full of, and it's totally expected in an open world game, but it's just full of little, I don't know, trip ups, I guess. And it just like, oh, sometimes it's really funny, but sometimes it's just taking it out of the experience. You can't control what's going on, and it can be annoying. Or when you just get one shot, you're like, all of a sudden you're gonna bullet sponge the whole thing, and then all of a sudden some guy appears out of nowhere, bam, shotgun, and you have to start back. That's a con I should have included. The checkpoints in this game are ridiculous. If I die halfway through a mission, don't take me back to the start. They're way too far and few far between. I understand that, you know, you should be punished a little bit for dying, I guess. But when you start me back that far, and these missions are long, don't make me start the whole thing. And some of them, it doesn't even, I don't know. It bugs the shit out of me. It's unfair. There's some unfair deaths, and you basically go back a long ways, and that's kind of stuff that may put the game down. Speaking of which, addiction, I give it a 1 out of 2. There are times that you gotta put the game down. It's a good game. It is addictive in a way. It keeps you coming back, and it's got a lot of things to do. But like I said, it just breaks your immersion and it kicks you out, and you're like, you know what? I've had enough of this today. That was kind of bullshit. I'm out. Therefore, only 1 out of 2. Reliability, no problem. Perfect score, 1 out of 1. It ran actually pretty good. I was impressed. It did not stress out my video card as much as, say, like Fallout 4 did. Atmosphere, I gave it a 1.5 out of 2. I thought actually the atmosphere is really, really good. It has good characters. It has a lot going on. When we walk by people, they talk. There's always things going on in the town. There's lots of little things to go and explore. In general, it's pretty sweet. I would love to see like an open world chat game with this map. Just be able to walk around, chat with people, hang out. And it kind of has that, but maybe like on a private server kind of thing. I get they have that too, but I haven't really gotten too into it. I almost joined a roleplay server, but it required all these, like, you have to write up a bio for your character and all this stuff. And I was like, you know what, I'm okay. So then the 0.5 I took off of Atmosphere was really for like jarring events, the things that break you out of the game, like when you're doing something and all of a sudden some guy comes out and like shoots you, or like, you know what I mean, like things like, why did that happen? I don't deserve that. So 1.5 out of 2 seems fair to me. Replay value, I give it a 2 out of 2. Grand Theft Auto, you can do a lot in that game. You can just ride around forever. I know people, and they play it differently than me. I'm object oriented. I like to find a goal and tackle it. And yet I have a friend of mine who's just more like chaos oriented. He just likes to start fights and see how long he can last. If you're that kind of person, it can last you a long time. And if you're the kind of person like me, there are a lot of little goals, especially with the online mode, if you can get it going, to keep the replay value very high. That means the total is a 7.5 out of 10. Very respectful. I think like 7.5 out of 10. It doesn't really show how nice this game is. It's lovely crafted, and I think it's worth the money if you get it on sale. I paid too much. I think I paid like, well, I shouldn't say I paid too much. I paid like $29 for it, and now I saw it going for $15. So if I had waited half a year, maybe I would have got that in. But that's okay. I can spared an extra 10 bucks. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Come back soon, watch more videos. In the meantime, have fun, stay safe.